Welcome to the 40th Annual Governor's Arts Awards nominee event for arts educators. I'm here in the beautiful Yuma Arts Center, a space that you have to come visit when you're in Yuma, and you have to come to Yuma because if you've been watching these events, you'll know that there's a lot of amazing places all around this state, and this is just one of the many. We are going to meet Lindsay here in a minute, who runs this place, and then we'll meet Roseanne and Russ, who are on our board, and they live in Yuma, and they have a lot more to share about this amazing town and this amazing place. So let's cut right over to Lindsay to hear more about what Yuma Arts Center is doing right now.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Banaka, and I'm the Arts and Culture Program Manager for the City of Yuma. And this past year, more than ever, I'm especially proud to be part of Yuma's arts community. Here at the Yuma Arts Center, our operations look a little bit different these days, but we're still busy providing enriching arts opportunities to our community members. We shut our doors in March 2020, only to open new windows with programs like the Unplugged concert series, which streams local musicians, poets, and storytellers every Wednesday night from our social media platforms. In May, we presented Pets in Quarantine, a digital play featuring 11 local actors. We also worked with our colleagues across the Parks and Recreation Department to build a drive-in movie theater at Desert Sun Stadium. We hosted several virtual art classes and artist happy hours, and we've been really busy working behind the scenes on deferred maintenance projects, getting the historic Yuma Theater ready for a strong comeback. We reopened the galleries and gift shop in early fall with new exhibits around the theme Heroes United, which featured many favorite comic book heroes and also original designs featuring indigenous heroes created by artists in the Cocopah Indian tribe. Our classrooms are once again open to offer one-on-one training in everything from painting to pottery. And recently this January, we opened new gallery shows including Silver Linings, an unjuried exhibition featuring 50 local artists who spent the last year doing what they do best, creating art. The only prompt was that we sought to display artwork that was created in 2020 and to share how artists utilized artistic practices to cope, heal, and process the chaos of the times. Paired with the artwork are artistic statements describing how the artists were impacted both personally and artistically through the events of 2020. When plans were thrown out the window and artist Alonso Delgadillo was in town painting murals, we gave him carte blanche to paint directly on the walls in the gallery. This unique installation was painted during the eve of the tumultuous election night in November and depicts uncertain and ambiguous spaces that represent the emotional roller coaster of major events in 2020. On display in our North and South Gallery, we have a show entitled COVID Madness by our 2020 Trivia of the Muses Award winner and Governor's Art Award nominee, ceramic artist George Tompkins. His show depicts hundreds of figures who represent the faces and crowds he watched on TV over the last year from national newscasts. Many new and exciting programs are also in the works, like a public art scavenger hunt and a drive-through Children's Festival of the Arts event, where our goal is to give out 500 art supply kits to area youth in our historic North End. Although we've had to slam the brakes on many events and programs, like artists and arts organizations everywhere, we have focused in on the things that we can do versus the things that we cannot.
Hi, I'm Roseanne Forte from Yuma, Arizona. I retired here about 6 years ago and got involved in some things in philanthropy and all things related to arts. Today I am on a few boards in Yuma, but I am also on the board of Arizona Citizens for the Arts, and I'm a proud arts and culture advocate.
Wow. And obviously she retired early, you can tell.
Yes.
She was only, how old were you when you, like 35 when you retired, something like that?
Yeah, exactly. How did you know?
It was just a wild guess, you know how it is. But I'm Russ Jones, and I've been living here in Yuma for about 45 years with my wife Janet, and so I don't have any choice about the arts. My wife conducts the symphony, the orchestra here, and our youth orchestras, and is behind the consortium for string music in Yuma County, which is made up of Arizona Western College, the high school district. She's involved in teaching youngsters at Crane Elementary, for instance. So I have no choice. All my kids learn to play multiple instruments, and believe it or not, I still have my old instruments, but She won't let me play them because I'm very, very bad. And but they look nice in my closet.
You don't get to automatically be a part of the orchestra?
No, I don't. They need an audience somewhere, right? So that's my job is to be there and appreciate what they do, and they do a lot. I am very much involved in the community. Custom house broker, international freight forwarder. Spent 12 years on the Arizona Community Foundation. Actually founded the Yuma Community Foundation, and still on that board. And I'm the most recent or newest member of your board, all because of her. So she, there was no moss grew on her before she went out and started recruiting other people to get involved with our citizens for the arts in Arizona. Very, very important. I'm also the current chairman of the Arizona Heritage Alliance, and so we're working on legislation that we have for the Heritage Alliance in the current session, and I know that we have the arts going through this session, and hopefully we'll be successful.
Yeah. And we have two interesting stories here, because you talked about needing the audience side, and that's something that a lot of people forget about the arts. When we talk about the arts and arts education, people often think, oh, we're making artists. Mm-hmm. But arts education is not, it's primarily not about making artists, because very few people become artists.
That's true.
It's about making the audience. So tell us a little bit more about that, about what you've learned or what you feel as an audience member. Again, you're not an artist, your wife does all of that, but how do you feel about your role as an audience member?
As an audience member, certainly. I mean, if you're a performer, why do you perform? Why do you rehearse every week or and for hours on end to prepare a performance, whether it be in dance or any of the performing arts or in the visual arts? Why do you do it unless it's for others' appreciation? So without an audience, without a market for it, it kind of, it's hard to get people motivated to become artists and stay as artists. And so here in Yuma, when we moved here 45 years ago, there was no string instruction in the schools whatsoever. They had bands, marching bands and stuff like that. And so my wife, coming from a community that had strings in the schools, decided that she would get together with a handful of other string folks in Yuma County and started up, and they eventually did it and built an audience and play music that is appreciated by the audiences here in Yuma. And most of the concerts that she's been having are when she could have concerts were packed, sold out. This entire place and the loge was packed. It was kind of like standing room only. So,
yeah, we can't have a conversation together without really giving even more credit to Janet, because
that's true. Yeah.
Because my entree into just even appreciating the arts started with a board membership on the Yuma Orchestra Association, and it was Janet that really, allowed me to see through her eyes the beauty of music and what it does to create confidence in children. And it just so impacted me, and I felt the experience. And as I spend more time in arts related things, Joseph, you are the one that taught me that art is in everything. It is in the clothes, it is in the boots, it's in my earrings, it's in everything. And we need more creative minds to solve our world's problems. I hate to get so philosophical, but creative minds are the ones that are going to, should be the ones that are going to rule our planet over time. You know what I mean? So
it's so true here because I would say roughly 2/3 of I think the orchestra is 60 people in the senior orchestra, and fully 2/3 of them grew, as you use the word organic, grew locally, because we don't have the 4-year university, we don't have an NAU, ASU, or U of A, we don't have that ability to that they do to have a symphony, have music programs. So we've had to do it all on our own here, and so it's worked out great. It's interesting. I love to see this. Is we're now seeing like the second and third generation in some families taking up the arts, taking up instruments.
Yeah.
Where I would see some in the audience. I saw them as little kids with beginning violin, and now they're parents and they've got their little ones because they have gosh, it's not, I wouldn't even say youth, because the twinklers, they have them like 3 and 4 years old, 5 years old,
Right.
starting them up on violin and cello. It's just as cute as can be. And every concert that we have here that Janet does, she provides time. So the first part of the concert has all the other age groups come and do their performances before the symphony performs in the second half of the event. So they get that stage time, and their parents are there, and it's really phenomenal. I think we might have some tapes someday. We'll have to find some of those tapes and share them with you, because they're as cute as a button.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Well, I'm really in love with Yuma, so if you could say to anybody, in addition to the orchestra, what's one more thing, small or large, you would want people to know about Yuma?
Well, how many communities this side have 3 ballet companies? And then at least another half dozen dance companies that do different types of interpretive dance in the community. So dance is a big part of our community.
One of the most well-respected ballet companies in the state.
We
Absolutely, we do.
With kids going on to professional ballet.
Absolutely.
We have Lindsay that got the governor's award last year, one of them, and the events that she's putting on in this theater that we sit in, and it just fills up downtown, and there's a buzz with whatever's going on, and you can just feel the excitement when things are happening. We have murals going up all over town, and our visitor center is creating a place to stop and look and check out Yuma, because it's so much more than the in and out stop that people make between Phoenix and San Diego. And the more that we can create things to do and cultural experiences, we're right by the border, the better it is for our community.
We have one of our high schools has an incredible choral program that will number as many as over 300 people in a chorale. And they will, every year, of course, it's been different with the COVID, we haven't been able to do that, but they will have, was it 5 performances? I think it's an entire week of
No
performances,
matter how many
for their Christmas, and they're all sold out. The auditorium's sold out for every single concert. So we've got our theater arts people that sometimes use this old historic theater that we're in right now. I mean, when we first moved, I remember seeing the first Star Wars movie was offered in this theater where we are, and nowhere else in town. And then they closed it down as a regular theater shortly after that, and it became a performing arts facility that the city did. And we were able to do that through the Community Foundation and establishing funds to philanthropic funds, and once again philanthropy. To keep this facility and keep it operating. But yeah, it's very diverse here. That's why we set up our celebration for the Muses, which covers all of the arts, the fine arts and the performing arts, to recognize the leaders in those various areas of performing and fine arts for what they do. So we're very blessed in the arts. And it's all local.
Can you tell that there is a lot of momentum here in Yuma about?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even in spite of the COVID, we were able to do some events. Caballero sponsored a Christmas pageant type thing to celebrate and showcase all of the dance groups in town, and we were able to do that at Christmas with our big tower lighting. We had to take a whole entire baseball field to spread everybody out and meet all of the criteria. And we've had the orchestra has been having rehearsals, because we have one of the folks that support the orchestra, some of the people in ag have large buildings that they could use that with the spacing that's required. Of course, the the high schools and other auditoriums aren't set up. This theater is not set up to do it that way, but we were through the grace of those and donations of space and stuff from those folks, we've been able to kind of carry on here, and so very proud of it. Great momentum, great support from the community. If we can just all get inoculated and get back to enjoying the arts and one another.
Well, we talked about the trifecta, so we'll probably close there because we want to get to recognizing the finalists in arts educators, which is coming up. But the trifecta is, of course, having great artists, having great audience, and having great advocates like Roseanne, who became an advocate after moving here to Yuma.
Yeah.
So
it takes all. In this case, it doesn't take two to tango. It takes three.
It takes three.
I guess it's, what are we doing?
What do you mean?
What kind of dancing takes at least three?
That's probably a road we're not going to go down.
No, it's not that, but but it does take all of those together, working together.
Well, there's lots of really great line dances where you get to like switch around, and everybody
There you go.
moves down the road, like the
Line
spinning and the Macarena and all those. Yeah.
There you go.
I do want to take a minute to talk about advocacy because it's something I've learned about through Arizona Citizens for the Arts, and very excited about what's going on there with your arrival. Really is to recognize a less Maricopa-centric state, and I really see that happening in everybody's conversations across the board with the commission, certainly with our elected officials, and Russ's conversations involving that is really helpful too. And so I'm just excited about the future and what the advocacy efforts of your organization and board members like Russ can do, and just having a bigger voice for Yuma. So.
It is so important, again, having the resources to support these groups and help them provide the venues like we have here and others. And it takes, again, certainly, I hate to quote this, but they say it takes a village. Well, it takes a community to truly appreciate the arts, and it takes, like you said, it's that trifecta. It's the audience, but it's also the people who just support the arts. And so through our community foundation here, we've been able to set up a number of funds for the arts that help fund our local performing groups in Yuma. So very important, that advocacy and philanthropy just doesn't happen naturally. It's a learned activity, and it needs to start at the earliest of ages, and understanding that we all kind of owe something back to what we get in terms of the pleasure and the growth and from the arts, and it just doesn't happen by itself. And so that is something we need to do more of, and I appreciate you and board's idea moving out beyond, as Roseanne said, the great state of Maricopa. But then of course, Pima County, they have the U of A, they have their own foundation. They kind of, but they're much larger than we are. They're not rural, and so it is very appreciated to have this kind of attention on the rural parts of the state, to know that we're not kind of forgotten, and there's rich arts in our areas. A lot of our arts now, a lot of it has more of a Latino or Hispanic. The Dia de los Muertos and other events like that are big in our community. We're a largely Hispanic community, and so it's we have high school mariachi groups in Yuma County and things you don't kind of see, and high school and elementary folklorical groups that perform in our community. So it's a very diverse culture, and I'm just so tickled to be here and part of it.
Thank you, Roseanne and Russ. Hopefully that gives you a sense of Yuma and why you should make the trip down here. It's really not that far. It's an easy drive. And if you ask me, I can tell you where all the Highway Patrol are parked, because I make this trip a lot. Before we list all of the amazing arts educators who were nominated this year, I really want to give a shout out to them. I cannot imagine how hard it has been on arts educators. I can imagine a little bit how hard it's been on artists, because I have so many friends and colleagues in that sector. But the way that arts educators have had to pivot to this primarily online experience, when so much of our art is reliant on the in-person energy, the in-person teaching and experience, I really just cannot imagine what they go through. So I'm really extra pleased to be showcasing them today. Teaching is, I think, the most important job that exists. It's the singularly most important job, because they are the foundation of our future. They're the ones who spend the most time with our children in the first half of their life, or the first 18 years of their life. So I want us always to honor them. I want us to pay them well, and I want us just to send them our love and support, because teachers, they do so much. They spend their own money, and if you're listening to this, you're probably part of the chorus. But just know that Arizona Citizens for the Arts cares about you and promotes arts in education, and to keep that in school. And we're so grateful for the work that all of these teachers are doing. So let's listen to the list. The nominees in art in education are Andre Liccardi, Peoria; Ashley Marie Golden from Surprise; Candace Green, Phoenix; Christopher S. Johnson from Flagstaff; Danielle Wood, Tempe; Deborah Argadon from Tucson; Dr. Julian Ackerley, also from Tucson; Dr. Paula Artak, Phoenix; John Contreras, Tucson; John Irwin from Phoenix; Joshua Lynch, Scottsdale; Catherine Fizz, Black Canyon City; Kristen Grippo from Chandler; Lauren Stannis, Phoenix; Laurel Ruff from Surprise; Lisa Falk, Tucson; Mark LaRubio from Santan Valley; Matt Deller, Glendale; Miles Denny from Mesa; Preston McDonald, Surprise; Randall Badsgard, also from Surprise; Nita Malia from Chandler; Steve Walgren, surprise. Sue Hunter from Scottsdale. Theodore Buckholz, Tucson. And Vivi Erickson from Phoenix. And the finalists for Arts Educator are Andre Licardi from Peoria, John Contreras from Tucson, Catherine Fizz from Black Canyon City, and Lisa Falk from Tucson. Congratulations to the finalists. In this category, we normally have 3 finalists, but we have 4 because of a tie. But thank you to them. Thank you to all of the arts educators and all the educators everywhere. You are our heroes, you're amazing, and you are loved. Tickets are on sale now for the 40th Annual Governor's Arts Awards on Friday, March 26th. So go right over to our website, buy tickets, and we'll see you there. Thank you. Stay safe.